bloggingcasestudy.com, giving passionate people a global voice.
Welcome to the second blogging case study video. By this point you should know which niche it is that you're going to be blogging in. If you don't, then head back to the first update and go through the steps there. It's awesome to see that people all over the globe are following along, so hello to all of you once again. As promised in the first video, I'm going to delve right into the content, so let's do that. In this update, we're going to be purchasing a domain name for our blog, setting up hosting where our content will be stored online, and installing WordPress, the software that will be powering your site. This may sound scary to some of you, but it's actually a very simple process. And once you've decided on what your domain is going to be, the rest of the steps don't take more than 30 minutes to complete. In other words, don't stress, because that's my job. A lot of people following along here run blogs on free platforms where you don't actually need to own a domain name. These include services like WordPress.com, Google-owned Blogger, Typepad, and Tumblr. While there are people who have been successful on these platforms, I strongly urge that you get your own domain name and host your own content. This will give you full control over advertising, your blog posts, community interactions, and if you were to sell your blog down the line, it would be a much easier process if you had total ownership of the site. Before I get into the details about the best options for domain names, I want to talk a little about keyword research. Keyword research basically involves finding phrases that people type into search engines, like Google, which are relevant to your chosen niche. We're doing this now because there may be a popular phrase in your industry where nobody has purchased a relevant domain for that term, and down the line it could help you get thousands of free visitors to your site each month. Not all of you will be able to utilize this. I haven't on my 2 public blogs, but there's a chance that it will help some of you, so I do want to cover this first. Even if you don't use this for finding a domain name, you're going to want to pick a key phrase later to target for SEO reasons, so it's good for you to understand this overall process. I have a huge keyword research guide on my own site at vibechill.com/keyword-research, which covers this whole topic in depth, but the 2 main tools I recommend using for this process are the Google Keyword Tool and the free Word Tracker Keyword Tool. The Google Keyword Tool gives you a good estimation as to how many people are searching for certain terms and phrases every single month in Google. So let me go look at that now. Okay, so here's the Google Keyword Tool. And when you come here, first thing you want to do is you want to click on this Only Show Ideas Closely Related to My Search Terms. And on this drop down here, you just want to select All Countries. Ideally, you're trying to find relevant phrases which get in excess of 2,000 exact searches per month. Though the higher the figure, the more traffic potential there is for that phrase. There's also likely to be a lot more competing websites, and there's less chance of finding an available domain name. Continuing with my theme of using examples in lots of different industries, for this one I'll pretend I'm building a women's fashion blog. And the way I want to help people with the fashion blog is to show the latest style trends and offer unique dressing suggestions for readers. Women's fashion is definitely not my thing, but in the Google Keyword Tool I did type in what I thought would be some relevant key phrases to that industry. So I typed in women's fashion, women's style, female design, and fashion trends. And on the left panel here, you just want to go into exact. Of course, you'll be writing key phrases which are related to your industry. And I can scroll down here and I can see exactly how many times those terms are being searched for. So fashion trends, 27,000, women's fashion, 12,000, women's style, 720, female design, 58. The Google Keyword Tool also suggests similar phrases around the ones you've entered and the search volume they get. So I can see a huge list here which are relevant to what I typed in. Some that came to mind and may make a good domain include New Fashion Trends, which gets 2,900 searches, Current Fashion Trends, which gets 1,900, Women's Fashion Online, 4,400, and Women's Fashion Clothing, which gets 3,900. If you happen to find phrases which get a few thousand searches and can become a suitable domain name for your blog, then write them down. We'll run them through a domain registrar, which is the place you register domains, in a moment. So, there are dozens of domain extensions available. Some of the most popular ones are .com, .net, .org, and .info. There are also country-specific extensions like .co.uk and .de for Germany. But unless your blog is only targeting the audience of a specific country, I would refrain from registering a country-specific domain. The best extension is .com, since it's more memorable and people are inclined to type that into their address bar when they hear the name of a site. Since the domain you want is not always going to be available, the .NET extension would be my second preference. Though I'm not a huge fan of .NET domains, I will say this. If your blog is going to be successful, the fact that it's on a .NET domain is not going to change anything. Some of the biggest blogs in the world have .NET extensions. Some people like to use hyphens in their domains, but I'm personally not a fan. Similar to less popular extensions like .info, it makes your domain harder to remember, and it doesn't help if people are talking about you offline. If you couldn't find relevant phrases that could work as your site name in the various keyword tools, then don't despair. Your focus should then be on picking a brandable domain which is relevant where possible. When I ran a popular personal development blog, its name didn't have anything to do with personal development, and my popular marketing blog VibeChill doesn't have a name which gives you a clue to the content found there. If you can get a name which is fairly short, memorable, and relevant, then you're on to a winner. That being said, don't stress if the name isn't entirely related. Being memorable and creating your own brand is more important, in my experience. Some popular site names that come to mind include Zen Habits, a blog on focus and productivity, Fin Slippy, which name doesn't really give you a clue as to what it's about. It's actually a popular mom blog. The Huffington Post, which started as a politics site and went into all news categories, and it's actually named after the founder, Arianna Huffington. And Politico, which you can probably guess is a politics blog. For Andrea's case study website, her domain name is short and memorable, but isn't totally relevant to what his site is about. In fact, when you first hear it, it may make you think of a totally different industry altogether. Since we want the site to establish itself on its own, I won't say what it is just yet, but of course I will update this section accordingly later on. Once you have some ideas of what domain you want to use for your blog, it's time to see if the domains are available, and if they are, to register them. There are many places to purchase a domain name, but I personally use Namecheap.com. Since it offers free WhoisGuard, meaning you can block your personal data from showing up in domain search engines, and purchasing .com domains through them is inexpensive at $9.89 per year. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but I will be using them as an example when I show you how to set up hosting and actually get your website online in the next step. So if you're a total beginner to setting up websites, I recommend that you use them. Other popular domain registrars include Name.com and GoDaddy.com for those of you who want a few options. None of the fashion key phrases from earlier were available in any of the main extensions, which may be the case for a few of you, but they did help me have some inspiration for other names. Things like New Fashionista, Fashionaholic, and Trending Design are just a few ideas that came to mind, all of which are available in various extensions at the time of writing this. Once you have a domain name, you need to set up hosting so that people can actually view your website and its contents online. I personally started out with HostGator, who host millions of websites and are the cheapest offering out there. Depending on how long a plan you initially sign up with, you can get hosting for as little as $3.96, that's £2.50 per month. Other popular options out there include DreamHost and Bluehost, though I haven't used them personally. Since I have used HostGator, I'll be using them for this example. So for HostGator, just head on over to HostGator.com, and then what you want to do is click on the web hosting menu option here. From there, you'll be presented with a number of plans. Any of these are fine, though do note that the hatchling plan only lets you host one domain, but the slightly more expensive baby plan allows you to host an unlimited number of domain names. With HostGator, you can also easily upgrade it if you need to at any time, though these options are more than enough for sites which get a few thousand visitors per day. Follow their step-by-step process if you want to go with them, making sure you enter the domain you purchased through whatever registrar you used. Within 24 hours, you will receive an email from HostGator with your account details and your hosting name servers. You'll need these name servers in the next step of the process. If you use Namecheap, then head on over to the website and you want to click on the My Account Manage Domains option. From there, click on the domain that you purchased. So I'm just showing an example one here, random one of my domains, nothing on there, cloudammo.com. And then you'll want to click Transfer DNS to Web Host. And on that page, you'll see an option like this, and the name servers that you were sent from HostGator or whichever host you signed up with, you'll enter them in this field and click Save Changes. It can take up to 72 hours for your domain to propagate around the world so people can actually see your website when they type your domain into their browser address bar. The final section of this update is going to show you how to install WordPress, the most popular blogging software available. Not is it only the most popular, but it's also 100% free, and if you're using a host like HostGator, which gives you access to an admin interface called cPanel, then you can install it in minutes. So if you weren't provided cPanel details when you sign up for blog hosting, then you have to ask your host, whoever they are, for those details. Companies like HostGator do have a live chat feature 24/7 on the website, so you should be able to get that answer in a couple of minutes. Once you're in cPanel, you'll see hundreds of options for lots of different things, but don't let that overwhelm you. You're only going to need this once, and then you'll never have to look at this interface again. So you want to scroll down to the third quarter of the page and look for a blue smiley face labeled Fantastico over here. So click on that. On the new screen that appears, click on WordPress on the left navigation bar. And in the new window to the right, click on New Installation. You'll then be presented with options for things like username, admin password, nickname, email address, site name, and so on. Once you've filled all that, just click Install WordPress, and then you'll then be presented with a confirmation message that your blog software is now ready. I told you it was quick and simple. To log into your WordPress admin area, simply go to yourdomain.com/wp-admin, obviously substituting domain.com for whatever domain it is that you purchased. That's it for this update. You should have your blog software all ready to go. If you do have any questions, do send me an email. And in the next update, we're going to be helping you design your blog so it's ready for the world to see. If you've enjoyed this video, please do spread the word. Chat soon.